everybody. Are we on? Can you hear me?
I'm on.
You're all wired. He's all wired. He's all kinds
I'm very
of
wired.
wired.
I've had lots of coffee. I'm ready to go.
He's ready to go.
I've had official Seattle Starbucks coffee, and now I know that some Seattle folks are not happy about the idea of me drinking Starbucks. I've heard that already.
So can you hear me okay? Everybody can hear me? Can you hear me in the back row? I want you to know I can see you in the back row. You can always tell a teacher, and I know why you end up in the back row. So I will be keeping an eye on you. There will be a quiz following this. No, it is fabulous to be here. I am delighted to be in Seattle. I am delighted, after so much time in the Senate, to be in front of a live audience. I appreciate the invitation, Louise. It is great to be here at University Bookstore, as I understand it is called, the bookstore. I love any place that can just refer to the bookstore. Works, and I also am delighted to be here in this church. This is terrific. So I appreciate Pastor Rich giving us this opportunity.
So I did a little research, of course, and renewed my experience with Python sketches with my 98-year-old mother, who, and we watched it together, and about, 5 or 6 sketches in, she turns to me and she said, "This is very silly." But I would say, yes, it is. That's a compliment.
That was
yes?
exactly right. Yes, but was it good silly or bad silly?
I think it was good silly. I think she was enjoying it.
I love that. That's a wonderful story. Incidentally, how old is she now? She's 98.
98.
Guess what my mother got to?
98?
101.
101.
101.
Really?
No,
So
she's dead, darling. She's dead now. There's no point in clapping.
So, good genes.
Good genes. Excellent. Yes, they need a bit of clean, but yes, terrific genes. My dad lived to 79 and he smoked himself to death. He smoked 40 untipped cigarettes a day from the moment he stopped fighting in the First World War. They were his great pleasure, were his cigarettes, yeah.
Wow. Do you smoke?
No, I stopped a long time ago, but I have a smoker's cough. Here's an impersonation I haven't done for a long time, but it's true. My dad would start his first cigarette in the morning, and he'd strike the match and then he'd inhale. At this point, my mother and I would be looking at him balefully, and he would say, "That's better."
Good evening, audience. Good evening, Joan. I've been thinking of you. Thank you for coming out tonight. I realize you had options. You could have stayed home and attended to your sex lives, your drug habits, and your neurotic and ungrateful children, but you didn't. You came here to see me, and I am nothing but grateful.
It is my honor and pleasure to give you, gentle people, a great American writer, a writer who has created in Lake Wobegon a better world even than we remember, perhaps a better world than we deserve, where all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the children are above average. Ladies and gentlemen, Garrison Keillor.
Somehow I wish I had come out before that introduction. And I only wish that my mother were alive to hear it, my goodness. She had no idea who she produced. Well, I suppose maybe she does hear it somewhere. Well, here we are in the midst of literary criticism and poetry and fiction over there, and English as a second language, which it may well become for some of us. Writing and reference as well. It's good to be here near this great campus, even though being close to a university campus just brings back memories of dreadful failure and misery, but we need not talk about that.
A press agent once, some years later, got me in these, I don't know whether the Forbes 400 is for real these days, but a press agent got me listed a good many years ago. I get a call from my mother after Forbes comes out. She lived in a building in Bridgeport, Connecticut, where the elderly people sat in the late afternoon and exchanged whatevers. And she called one day and she said, "How are you, sweetheart?" I said, "I'm fine, Mom." No, I mean, really, you can tell me, how are you? I said, "Well, I'm fine. There's something to you." She said, "Well, you know, I'm worried about you." I said, "Why would you be worried about me?" She said, "I saw that magazine." I said, "Well, so?" She said, "I didn't want you to be upset you were so far down on the list."
Thank you so much, Caitlin. So this is the miracle of today's, come on in, miracle of today's day, which is I've never actually met you, but I know you from Twitter, and so I feel like in many ways we talk more often than I talk to my mom. Thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. So I am Tim Federley, and I'm in Seattle. I landed this morning. I woke up in my hometown of San Francisco today at 4 a.m., and my mom drove me to the airport because I was on live with, do you guys know Margaret on Channel 4? Who interviews people? She's a lot of fun, and it was live, and that was really fun. And I made cocktails at like 10 a.m., which is a great way to kick off Christmas in a lot of ways. So I am here because my new book came out, Hickory Dackory Dock, and I'm gonna pretend you guys don't know anything about To Kill a Mockingbird. So this book came out April of 2013, and I do a lot of events now with kids. Because it's so great to see you finally. Because I know so many people as avatars. I'm like, and now I recognize you in 140 characters.
I've got a tray table. Hold on a second. Did anybody not get matches? Somebody came. You didn't. You need matches. There's more matches.
Thank you.
I'm going to explain the significance of the matches. And then also, before I get started, I have to do something. I got to get this because I always forget. And Enzo's so cute. I'm going to read you a little story before bed tonight, so you can. So this is kind of a fun book. I just want to show you some of the pictures in it. Sorry. Show you some of the pictures in it.
I've known her for years. I'm really glad he agreed to come out for the slower go of selling things. We've been making jokes about how that can't be all the stack of his books. It doesn't take up 4 pounds. Other than that, please welcome Patrick Rothfuss. So, I have a little bit of a story. That will be the title of my autobiography. You can actually find proof of this online. I've started doing shows, for lack of a better word. Paul and Stone, musical comedy duo. It makes them sound like superheroes. They invited me to come and do some shows with them, and I've done a few here in Seattle and around
the country. And they did one, and they kind of invited some more people in, and I said, you know, I think it'd be really fun. I could sing something. You know, instead of just like reading and answering questions like I normally do, if you're gonna have people there, like, I could sing something with somebody, like maybe Molly Lewis. And they go, okay, yeah. I go, I know all the words to Tom Lehrer's The Elements song, because I memorized it back in high school, like you do. And they're like, that would be funny. I go, do you think she could play it? And the message bounces back, yes, I have the Tom Lehrer ukulele songbook. And I'm like, well, okay, great, let's do it. And so I didn't think much more about it until the day of the event. And so we get up there and she's like, you know, you ready for this? I'm like, yeah, it's great. I've sung it a bunch of times. I used to do it like on demand. And for those of you that haven't heard it, it's set to like the music of modern Major General. So it goes like, there's antimony, arsenic, aluminum, selenium, and hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen, uranium, and nickel, neodymium, neptunium, germanium, and iron, americium, euthenium, uranium. See, I do know the words. Here's the difference, right? Kind of singing it to yourself, or say in a car along with a CD, or when you're mowing the lawn, is like really different than singing with an accompanist, which I have never done. And so Molly, you know, we're backstage, she's like, you want to run through it? And I'm like, we're good. I am on it. I am on it. And so I got up on stage, and then I learned all of those things about, you know, it is different, and boy, there are a lot of you, and actually, you know, I'm not that used to singing into a microphone, and it was a train wreck. It was just like a horrible, horrible train wreck. Luckily, like Paul and Storm were there, and John Scalzi was actually there acting as the music stand too, holding her sheet music in his mouth, and she would come around, she'd play it, and I'd be like, that was where I should have come in, right there. And I'd be like, okay, that was it again. It was just, and finally, like, Paul comes out from the wing, and he goes, there's, and he would, like, lead me, and then I could do a verse. But it was a marvelous train wreck. And that was really one of my first intimate performance experiences with Molly Lewis, which I have not yet lived down.
Just a question about your writing process. You have a long stretch of time between book publications. I'm just wondering if you write a little bit through that whole stretch, or if you take a big chunk of time where you do something totally different and then work hard at it.
Oh, I start to run out of money. And so after I publish a book, I live in effect like a normal human, except for not doing anything to make a living. And then when it becomes time, you know, time to write a book, I get a contract to write a book, and then I begin to procrastinate. And after a certain painful amount of procrastination, I commence the actual process of writing the book, and which is like kind of indescribably horrible.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Dwayne. That McSweeney's book that Dwayne mentioned there, I have a new book out approximately next week called Information Doesn't Want to Be Free, with introductions by Neil Gaiman and Amanda Palmer. That's a book about internet policy and related issues. So that's why I'm coming back next week. I'm going to be back for that. And I'll also be back this summer I'm going to teach the Clarion West workshop. So I hope to see some of you then as well, along with my students who are always promising and bright-eyed.
All right, thank you, Dwayne, for having me back one more time. This is sort of people have been saying, oh, how's the book tour going? This isn't really a book tour. This is sort of a book holiday. I am having tomorrow a milestone birthday. And I was trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I got a book coming out at the same time. And part of me wanted to say, just screw it, I'm going to the Barbados or something. And then part of me's like, no, you should work it into promotion. And when my good friend Sean Speakman of the Sign Page said, hey, you up for doing it one more time? I thought, okay, there's no real publicity budget this time around, but I can get myself to Seattle and make signed books available to anybody who wants them worldwide, doing that. And then also, maybe Dwayne would be willing to have me back at the University Bookstore, which he was. And all of you, thank you for coming out to see me.
Am I supposed to sit right there? Or? I'm just thinking, please don't fall down the stairs. Hello, everybody. I'm just gonna sit here. I feel like I'm about to have like a sex ed conversation. Maybe that's what it's gonna be. How's everyone? It's nice to see you. Thank you all for coming. What was that you were watching? Okay, good. Did I say anything stupid? All right, we need like almost like a safe word if I say anything too dumb. Somebody yell out like, that'll be it. Did I just do that? And it already started? Okay. Seriously, if I say anything too dumb, just yell out Oklahoma.
How do I sound? Can you hear me? Even in the back? Okay, I'll try and do it from the diaphragm. So I did my first book reading ever 2 nights ago in Los Angeles, and I will admit to you that I was totally terrified, like really, really deeply terrified. And I actually do public talks all the time, so it doesn't make a lot of sense that I was deeply terrified, but I think it's something about having this book that I've been working on for 6 years finally out there, and the idea that people are just gonna go, oh, death awareness, not really for me, thank you. I appreciate your efforts, but no, moving along, culture doesn't have a place for you. And that hasn't been the case so far, as multiple people have been made to tell me, by me, but it's still a really terrifying experience, but I feel much better tonight. I had a drink before I came, so that helped a little. Thank you for the local Seattle brewery, that helps me with that. And I think I also feel better because I am in Seattle, which, if you are not aware, is one of the best cities for death in America right now.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's a real joy to be here tonight. I think to get into the story, I'd like to see a show of hands. How many have not read the book Proof of Heaven? Okay, so we'll have to do a little bit of backpedaling here just to kind of tell you why that story has had an impact and what it means about the world and how the world is changing very rapidly. I think to put this in perspective, it's important to point out a little bit about who I was before my coma. My coma occurred 6 years ago right now, and I am still on a vertical part of the learning curve, trying to understand all of it and make some sense of it. And what I will tell you is my journey is very much a microcosm of what the world of science is going through now.
A couple of things. First thing I want to do is I actually want to get a picture of you all, if that's okay. Just hold on. And I think I'll have to use the panorama thing here, which is kind of cool if you think about it. So, all right. I want you all, now don't move. Okay, here we go. All right, there we go. There we go. I'm gonna send this to my mom. Go see. I actually did something with my life. There you go. That's perfect. Thank you so much. The other thing is that I promised all of you that if you came, I would tell you that secret thing that I can't tell other people yet. And so I'm going to tell you that you got to promise me that you're not going to tweet it or put it on a blog or do anything else. It's just between you and me. For the moment, I'll probably be told I can tell it tomorrow, but for right now, it's just you people, which is that Lock-In landed on the New York Times hardcover bestseller list.
Thank you for welcoming me. I'm a graduate of the University of Washington. So I understand your city, but I was really astounded by the rain tonight. I had forgotten. Thank you for welcoming me. We're here tonight for questions, I guess. I'm very proud of the book I've written. Marianne has sort of been an icon for 50 years this year. Can you believe it? And wherever I go, the fans have all, I raised you. You know, I was your childhood, and you know, I was Mickey Mouse. You know, when I was a kid. But I have been in wonder at the popularity of this show around the world. They didn't expect us to last more than 6 weeks. They thought it was the stupidest thing ever written.
Thank you, Joe. That's considerably taller than me. Well, nice to have a semi-captive audience here, so let's see how this goes. I'm going to read, I think, maybe for closer to 20 minutes or so, and then be glad to take questions and so on. But like probably all writers since Shakespeare, I'm often asked that hard-to-answer question, where do you get your ideas? The immediate answer that comes to me out of my head, you know, that can be taken the wrong way, so I don't give that very much. With this particular book, I finally have a more classy response as to where I got the stuff of inspiration. From Shakespeare, of course. The title, primarily, taken from A Midsummer Night's Dream, a scene in which Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, harks back to hunting bear in the company of the strongest man in the world, and a certain slayer of dragons. I was with Hercules and Cadmus once, when in a wood of Crete they bayed the bear with hounds of Sparta. I never heard so musical a discord, such sweet thunder. Hopefully I'll connect that title to the book in a minute here. But a second debt to Shakespeare, because he pretty much owns the property, is the bedrock idea under the story.
I feel a little bit like Cotton Mather, Emily Mather's Puritan ancestor up here. I feel like I should actually be giving a bit of a sermon. Anyway, which happily I'm not going to do that. Thank you guys for coming out on this beautiful night when by all rights you should be sitting in your backyard with a glass of wine, watching the Blue Angels fly overhead, since it is this, you know, exciting weekend for Seattle. Nevertheless, we're very glad to see you here at the University Bookstore. I want to add my thanks to those of the store for coming out and supporting a local independent bookstore, because really, as all of the readers in the room know, you know, this is really where the magic happens in your community. So thank you for helping to keep such places alive.
I have a lot of matronly character. I have several books, and there's a matronly character that appears in a lot of my books. And I have tried to keep this old woman out, as she just keeps appearing. And yeah, my characters will come up out of the blue. I remember I had written Let the Church Say Amen, and then I had done a sequel to it. I was at a luncheon where I was a guest speaker, and Rachel, the main character, just started talking to me. My mother said I need to stop telling people this. But Rachel just started talking to me, and she was like, I need to tell you what's going on. And so I started writing on a napkin. And it's to the point now, my husband, I'll go and I'll start talking to him, and I'll say, oh, you know, let me tell you what police did. And everything I do, he goes, wait, are these real people we talking about? I had this little line sometimes I cross without thinking about it. And so, yes, they definitely take over and will not stop talking to me until they're out and their story has begun to unfold.
Did any of you come here for Kevin Hearn when he was here? Yeah? Wasn't that funny? He's hysterical. That little guy. I don't know about him. What? No, I didn't watch the video. I was here. Oh, it's up. All right. Did I miss something? Oh, okay. Oh, no, I remember that. I thought that's when the wheels came off, was when he got into that. But that's another story. And I'm not talking about that either. It's more grimdark stuff, so I'm not, after a fashion.
Thank you so much, Eileen, for the gracious and generous introduction. My friends, let's, as we always do in our classes, let's do a few, some of you from the wonderful get-togethers we have, a few ohms or ohms. Deep breath. Two more times. One more. Thank you so much, and once again a very, very heartfelt welcome. Please know your presence is a blessing. My plan is not to talk too much, which is of course difficult for me not to, because I want to leave time for questions and answers.
It's great to be back in Seattle. And it's been sunny today. It is almost always sunny when I come to Seattle. Portland, not so much. But apparently the sun likes me here. So we'll just have to keep track of it. We got sun today. The next time I come, we'll just keep a little tick. And if I really do bring the sun, I don't know, come more often, move here? I don't know, worship for the sun deity would work. No, it's just really weird that everybody says there's no sun here. You couldn't prove it by me.
I understand that some people have been here since the crack of ass this morning. Is that true? Who's been here? Somebody's been here since 9 in the morning. Is that right? Are you wearing catheters or how are you, adult diapers? Really? And you made sure you would kill someone if they... Okay. All right. Well, good. I admire your dedication. I mean, this is no surprise, right? You've got all kinds of fans.
Oh, I know. It's always
they
great
go
when
on
they show up
cruises
early.
with you, huh? Who's on the cruises? So you've swam in a pool with him? This is nothing? No. Okay. Well, how are you holding up?
I'm good.
Okay, good.
I could use a nap, but I'm good.
Does the swooning ever stop? I mean, are you tired of the term heartthrob, and does it make it difficult to buy groceries?
I don't really relate to that, but I kind of get it. But I mean, I just do my work, and that's really what I'm here for.